My people of Burkina Faso, my brothers and sisters of Africa, and all who value justice in the world, I speak to you today with the weight of sorrow and the fire of resolve burning in my heart. A drone has struck at the very core of our nation. 41 of our courageous officers, guardians of our land and defenders of our sovereignty, have fallen. I myself stand before you wounded, but alive. I stand because their sacrifice demands that I live not for myself, but for our cause. This was not an accident. This was not the hand of fate. This was an act of war, a calculated attempt to assassinate me, to break our movement, and to silence the cry of freedom rising from Burkina Faso. The question that burns in every heart is simple: who sent the drone? Who benefits from the blood of Burkina Faso patriots spilled upon our soil? Speculation rises, and we cannot ignore it. All eyes turn to the powerful nations that wield drones as tools of domination. All eyes turn to those who have long meddled in African affairs, dictating our politics, seizing our resources, and crushing our sovereignty. And among them, the shadow of the United States looms large. I do not speak these words lightly. We know the history. From Libya to Somalia, from the Sahel to the Middle East, the drones of America have become instruments of death, striking at leaders who dared to stand outside its control. Should we believe that Burkina Faso is spared from such designs? Should we believe that as we take bold steps toward true independence, as we cast off the chains of imperialism, the empire will simply watch in silence? No. The truth is bitter, but it cannot be hidden. Those who profit from Africa's weakness are the same who tremble at Africa's awakening. This attack was not just on me, it was on you. It was on our soldiers who give their lives so that we may live free. It was on the dignity of Africa itself. When drones fly over Ouagadougou, when blood flows on our land, the message is clear: they fear us. They fear that the children of Africa are no longer submissive. They fear that Burkina Faso, small in size but great in courage, has lit a fire that will spread across the continent. My survival is not my own victory. It is your victory. It is the victory of every Burkina Faso farmer who tills the land for his children, every mother who dreams of dignity for her family, every youth who refuses to bow his head to foreign masters. They tried to kill a man, but a man is not a revolution. A man is not a people. A man is not Africa. The idea that we must be free cannot be killed. And so I say to America and to all foreign powers who imagine that Africa exists for their profit: you may have drones, you may have missiles, you may have wealth stolen from the sweat of others, but we have something you will never destroy: the will of a people united, the spirit of a continent rising, and the certainty that justice, though delayed, cannot be denied. The blood of our 41 martyrs cries out for justice. Their sacrifice is not the end of our struggle. It is the beginning of a new chapter. We will honor them not with silence, but with action. We will strengthen our defenses. We will guard our skies. We will build alliances with nations that respect our sovereignty. We will no longer live at the mercy of those who treat Africa as their playground of destruction. Let the world know: Burkina Faso is not afraid. Africa is not afraid. If America or any other power believes it can frighten us into submission, let this moment be their answer. I stand here wounded but alive. Our soldiers lie dead, but their spirits rise with us. We are not defeated. We are not broken. We are more determined than ever. To my people, I promise this: I will not abandon the path we walked together. If they come for me again, so be it. If I must die, I will die standing, not kneeling, but until that day, I will fight for you, with you and beside you. To Africa I say, the drone that struck Ouagadougou struck you all. Stand with us. Stand with each other. Let us no longer face these attacks as scattered nations, but as one Africa, for together, no drone, no empire, no foreign power can defeat us. The blood has been spilled. The truth must be spoken. The struggle continues, and victory, no matter the cost, shall be ours. The 41 officers who gave their lives in the drone strike are not simply names on a list. They are the embodiment of courage, sacrifice, and duty. Each of them carried within his heart the spirit of Burkina Faso, the will to stand firm even in the face of overwhelming odds, and the dream of a nation free from domination. They were fathers who hoped to see their children grow strong, sons who carried the pride of their families, and brothers who protected their communities with honor. Their lives were cut short in an instant of fire and destruction, yet in that moment they achieved what few can ever claim. They became eternal guardians of our freedom. Death may have taken their bodies, but it cannot take the meaning of their sacrifice, for their blood has watered the soil of our nation, and from it new courage will rise. To speak of them is to speak of duty fulfilled. They stood at their posts, loyal to their oath, defending their leader and their people. They did not abandon their position, even as the sky rained death upon them. They chose to stand firm, and in standing firm, they gave us the gift of time, the gift of survival, and the gift of continued resistance. No enemy can erase such heroism. No propaganda can diminish their place in history. They are martyrs, and in the hearts of Burkina Faso they will remain alive forever. To the families who mourn them, the pain is immeasurable, yet let them know that their sons did not die in vain. They died as warriors, as patriots, as protectors of Africa's dignity. Their names will be remembered in our villages, in our schools, in the songs of our children. Generations yet unborn will know that 41 brave officers laid down their lives so that the nation could continue its fight for sovereignty. Their sacrifice is not a loss, but a seed planted in the soil of history, destined to grow into a tree of freedom that will shelter future generations. In their memory, we will not falter. In their honor, we will not retreat. The path they walked with their last breath is the same path we must all now tread, with courage, with dignity, and with the unshakable belief that freedom is worth any price. Their lives are gone, but their spirit leads us forward. The question that rises in the hearts of our people, and indeed across Africa, is who holds responsibility for the strike that claimed the lives of 41 of our finest officers. This was not the work of shadows or unknown forces. The precision of the strike, the technology behind it, and the cold calculation of its timing point clearly to those who wield the most powerful tools of warfare today. Speculation cannot be silenced, and the hand of the United States emerges in every discussion. We know too well the history of American drones over the skies of Africa and the Middle East, raining destruction in the name of security, leaving behind widows, orphans, and broken nations. Can we ignore the pattern that repeats itself? Can we close our eyes to the reality that those who fear an independent Africa are the very same who possess such weapons? I speak not out of hatred for a people, but out of recognition of a system. America, with its wealth built on the backs of others and its army stretched across the world, has long acted as though it has the right to dictate who may govern and who must fall. From Libya to Somalia, we have seen drones strike leaders and communities, always justified with words of security, but always leaving behind chaos that serves the interests of empire. When Burkina Faso rises to declare its independence, when we reclaim our resources, when we chart a course that rejects domination, should we believe we are exempt from their gaze? No, my brothers and sisters. The truth is too clear to deny. Speculation of US involvement does not come from emptiness. It comes from evidence, from history, from the very logic of imperial strategy. Our enemies are not those who live in America, but those who sit in its war rooms and calculate how to weaken Africa. They may not yet admit their hand, but silence is not innocence. We demand answers, and we demand accountability. If America's drones flew over our soil, then let them know this: they have not killed our resistance, they have only strengthened it. If they sought to frighten us into submission, they have only lit a fire that will never be extinguished. We will not kneel, we will not surrender, and we will not forget. Africa is not merely a map of divided nations, it is a living body, and when one part is struck, the whole body feels the pain. The drone strike that targeted Burkina Faso is not an isolated act. It is not simply an assault on one leader or one army. It is an attack on Africa itself. When 41 Burkina Faso officers fall under foreign fire, the message is clear. Those who wield power beyond our continent see no distinction between Burkina Faso, Mali, Niger, or any other land that dares to rise. To them, Africa is a battleground, a field for exploitation, a place where lives can be taken without consequence. This is the reality we must face. The skies above Ouagadougou are the skies above all of Africa, and the blood spilled here belongs to every African who dreams of sovereignty. For too long, Africa has been treated as a possession of others, a resource to be mined, a market to be controlled, a people to be silenced. The colonial powers may have left their flags behind, but they did not abandon their hunger. They changed their weapons, they changed their language, but the intent remains the same: to keep Africa weak, divided, and dependent. The drone strike is simply the modern face of an old violence, where once they marched with armies, now they strike from the skies. Where once they enslaved with chains, now they enslave with debt, corruption, and manipulation. The tools have changed, but the oppression remains. Yet Africa is not asleep. From the Sahel to the Horn, from the forests of Congo to the shores of West Africa, a new spirit is rising. Young men and women refuse to be defined by the scars of the past. Nations like ours, though small, are daring to say, enough. We will decide our own future. It is this awakening that terrifies those who struck us. They fear that if Burkina Faso can resist, others will follow. They fear an Africa that stands united, that builds its own strength, that no longer bows before foreign masters. Therefore, this attack is not only a tragedy, it is also a warning. It warns us that Africa cannot remain fragmented. If one nation is targeted today, another will be targeted tomorrow. If one leader is attacked, another will soon face the same. Only through unity can we shield ourselves. Only through solidarity can we transform their fear into our strength. Let the drone strike remind us, not of our weakness, but of our shared destiny. Africa is under attack. Yes, but Africa will also rise together, stronger than ever before. They struck with the intent to break us. They believed that by killing 41 of our officers, they would paralyze our will, weaken our defenses, and shatter the resolve of our people. They thought that by wounding me, they would silence my voice and scatter the movement that has risen in Burkina Faso. Yet here I stand before you, injured but alive, shaken but unbroken. The enemy fails to understand that resistance is not housed in a single man or even a single army. It lives in the spirit of the people, and the spirit of the people cannot be destroyed by drones or missiles. Every strike they launch only strengthens our determination. Every martyr who falls becomes a seed planted in the soil of Africa, from which new fighters, new leaders, and new voices of resistance will grow. They believe that death will frighten us, but they misunderstand Africa's history. Have we not endured centuries of chains, of invasions, of occupations? Have we not seen villages burned, kingdoms divided, leaders assassinated, and yet through it all, Africa still stands? If centuries of oppression could not erase us, how then can one drone strike make us surrender? Unbreakable resistance is born from the knowledge that we fight not for conquest, not for wealth, but for survival and dignity. The foreign powers who target us fight to maintain their control over our resources, their dominance over our politics, and their grip on our future. We resist because we seek freedom for our children, bread for our families, and sovereignty for our nations. This is why they cannot defeat us, because their cause is greed, but ours is justice. Their weapons are powerful, but their hearts are empty. Our weapons may be fewer, but our hearts burn with a fire they can never match. I tell you now, we will not surrender. We will not be silenced. We will adapt. We will learn. We will build. And we will fight with every tool we have until our skies are our own, our land is our own, and our future belongs to us alone. They may return with greater force. They may send more drones, but we will meet them with a resistance that no power can erase. Burkina Faso stands unbroken. Africa stands unbroken. And together we will write a future that no empire, no drone, and no foreign power can deny. Brothers and sisters of Africa, the time has come to speak with one voice, to stand shoulder to shoulder, and to recognize that our survival and our dignity depend not on the strength of one nation alone, but on the unity of an entire continent. The drone that struck Burkina Faso was not aimed at me alone. It was aimed at the dream of an Africa that governs itself. The 41 officers who fell did not die for Burkina Faso alone. They died for the freedom of all Africans who refuse to live as slaves in their own land. If the enemy can target Ouagadougou today, then Bamako, Niamey, Accra, or Kinshasa may be next. Only unity will protect us. Only unity will turn their weapons into symbols of their failure. We must break the borders drawn by colonizers that divide us. We must look beyond the flags and languages imposed upon us and see that we share one destiny. The attack on Burkina Faso is proof that foreign powers do not see us as separate. They see us as one Africa to be controlled and exploited. Then let us also see ourselves as one Africa to be defended, to be liberated, and to be raised up together. Our strength lies in our numbers, in our youth, in our resources, and in our history of resistance. United, we are a force greater than any empire. Divided, we remain prey for their drones and their schemes. Unity does not mean words alone. It means building real structures of defense, of economy, of culture, and of solidarity. We must protect each other's skies. We must trade with each other fairly. We must educate our children to know the history of Africa, not just the history of Europe. We must forge alliances, not with those who enslaved us, but with those who respect our sovereignty. In unity, we can build armies that guard our borders, industries that serve our people, and governments that answer only to their citizens, not to foreign masters. I call on every African leader, every soldier, every worker, and every student to rise to this task. Let the blood of our martyrs be the foundation of a new African unity. Let their sacrifice awaken in us the courage to put aside divisions and fight for a common destiny. Our enemies fear nothing more than a united Africa, and that is exactly why unity must be our answer. Together we shall resist, together we shall endure, and together we shall win the freedom that is our birthright.